Hello everyone, my name is Christian Rigi and welcome to tutorial number 1 for JFrames and GUIs. Now, before I start the tutorial, I would like to mention that it is important that you have basic concepts and understanding about Java programming itself before you actually get into GUIs. I also would like to note that all of my tutorials regarding GUIs are created using objects and not with inheritance. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get right into the program. Alright, so let's start right at the top with the first line of code. As you can see, it says import javax.swing.*. Now, javax.swing is a package, and this package contains numerous components which is used for creating GUIs. And one of those components is the JFrame class. And as you can see here, I've created a variable called frame by using the JFrame class data type. And the JFrame class is used to instantiate a frame. And you're probably wondering, well, what exactly is a frame? Well, a frame is a window with a border, title, and buttons for minimizing, maximizing, and closing the frame. Now, as you can see, I've created a constructor for this class. And the reason I've created a constructor is that this is where we will actually be building and designing our GUI. And because this GUI isn't a very complex one where a lot of things are changing throughout the program, we can easily design it in a constructor with no problem. Now, as you can see here, in my first line of code, I say frame equals new JFrame hello world. So my variable frame has now become an object of the JFrame class, and we named the class hello world. Moving on, as you can see here, we say frame.set default close operation jframe.exitOnClose. The set default close operation is a method, and this method sets the operation that occurs when the user clicks the close button. And normally the class constant for this method is jframe.exitOnClose, which you can see here. Now, in this line of code here, frame.pack, the pack method will size the frame so that all of its contents are at or above their preferred sizes within the frame, so you can rearrange and change them however you like. And lastly, frame.setVisibleTrue, the setVisible method will display the frame when the Boolean argument is true, and as you can see here, I've set it to true, so we can actually get our frame to display. Alright, so moving on, we have a method created in the constructor which is called runGUI. And in this method, you can see that we're actually using the JFrame class data type to call a method known as setDefaultLookAndFeelDecorated. So essentially, what this method does is that it sets the frames which is created after the method is called to have Java window decorations. And Java window decorations can be things like borders and titles. And this method will run when the Boolean argument is true. And as you can see here, our argument is true, so this method will run. Then moving on, we have to create an object of our class, JFrame tutorial. And this object, although it has a yellow underline underneath it to note that it won't be doing anything, it's important that we add this because a JFrame object uses something called a content pane to hold the GUI components. And we'll talk about that more in other tutorials, but it is necessary to have this in order for our GUI to work. Alright, so finally we're going to be going over the main method. So as you can see, the first line of code says javax.swing.swingutilities.invocelater new runnable. So what this means is that we're first of all calling the javax.swing package. After that, when we say swing utilities, we're calling a collection of utilities of methods that are involved with swing. After that, invoke later is a method that will update GUIs depending on user input and what is involved in your GUI. New runnable is the interface of the GUI, so this will stay active throughout the entirety of the GUI until the user decides to exit the program and close the GUI, in which the code will stop. Finally, we have a method that says public void run, and we call runGUI from our previous method. So once that's done, we're able to run our program and get our GUI to go. And as you can see, right here, we have our GUI named Hello World, and there you have it. That is how you create a JFrame in Java. Hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and stay tuned for the next one.